As a very wise man, Michael Jackson, once said, just beat it, just beat it, just beat it, just beat it, beat it. Of course, this is in relation to Jos Verstappen and his son Max Verstappen and the relationship they had in his younger years. Welcome to the Avant-Garde One podcast, hosted to you by the Behind the Paddock channel. My name is Milo, and I will be available to your displeasure this evening. Now, I'm not alone today, as you can see by the screen. Joining me from probably a hospital in Kunduz or maybe a desert in the middle of the so-called Kurdistan territory, running through probably 7 VPNs, is Miran. Welcome.
Well, assalamu alaikum, Kai. Great to be here for this podcast.
Yeah, alaikum assalam. That's not all though. We have 2 more people here coming to us from a very sunny, from a very rainy Austria, from absolutely middle of nowhere. The specialist of Ferrari tears, our special guest from Sicily, Giuseppe.
Yeah, welcome. It's very nice to be here. That intro was a 10 out of 10. I would only listen just for that, to be honest.
And coming from the middle of a favela currently being run over by 5 drug cartels in the middle of a massive war, and probably sitting cowered in a corner under a desk in Goiânia, is our beloved conspiracy theorist, JV.
Thank you. This is actually a nice intro. I'm happy to be here. And that actually sounded like the most NPC way of just getting the intro done, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I have a request for the next episode. I already know we haven't actually started talking about Formula One yet, but for next episode, I'd like to freestyle the intro.
All right. So,
thank you.
Yeah, this is a podcast that is going to be about Formula One, and it's called Avant-Garde One because we're avant-garde and we don't give, we don't care really, do we? We're not biased, as the words of a very wise man and the rocket-powered Mohawks video. You're not biased if you hate everyone. And this video also serves as an introduction to the new rebranded channel of Behind the Paddock, where you will get proper content and not just shitty offline championship videos. Yes, welcome. This is one of the worst videos to introduce a proper channel, but I don't really care. So, we gathered this evening to talk about Formula One, as you guys know, and we've had how many rounds of the championship already? Is it 7?
I do think so.
Honestly, I have no idea. I've been barely keeping up with the championship. I don't know why you brought me on this show, but like.
Oh.
The thing is though,
It's fun.
so we've had 8 races of the championship.
I might let me just say something. But just the lack of attention to the championship just summarizes how little we care about this season.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I agree. Cause like, I haven't been paying attention to anything this season. Like genuinely, I have no idea who's performing well, and I have no idea who's not performing well. Cause like after 30 laps, I just turn off the TV.
Max Verstappen wins!
Yeah, the thing is though, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Formula One. Turns out we did 8 races this season, and Red Bull won all of them.
If we tried to guess, it wouldn't. We would probably say 5, no, probably 10, because that's how much we want to get it to end. We're saying like this has been at least already the mid-start. We're already in the mid-season, but no, we are still in the start of the season. There's still like a bunch of rounds left.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have 14 rounds left of the championship.
I thought it was 10. I thought it was 9.
No.
I remember like in the like the first few races of the season. I think it was going into Azerbaijan. Because Verstappen and Perez were still decently close in the championship, right? Like there was about 15.
Yeah, they traded wins. Yeah.
Yeah, and then was it Azerbaijan? No, it wasn't Azerbaijan. Where was it? I think it was some race where Perez just. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yes, we're past the 10-second mark, so yes.
Okay, there was just one race where like Perez just completely fucked off and Verstappen won it, and there was like there's just like a massive gap between the two.
Yeah, I think that was Miami.
It probably was. No, I'm looking at the results like right now. I've got it up on my screen.
Oh,
Paris finished second in Miami.
yeah, you mean
I
Monaco
think
then?
Monaco. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It was Monaco.
Oh no, that race.
So basically, Verstappen's won the championship.
Essentially.
And
Hold
the
your
only
horses.
question, the
Hold
only
your
question will
horses.
be then, the only question will be then, as we now obviously head into the Red Bull ring, who will be the only non-Red Bull winner this year, or like winners?
Alonso.
You know
Trust.
what? I'm gonna put a gamble and say it's not gonna be any of the Ferrari drivers. It's not going to be any of the Aston Martins and Mercedes drivers. I'd say somehow, because of course an Alpine driver is going to shithouse his way onto the podium and win. Because
And I'd say,
Ocon has already shit house.
I'd also say you're mentally ill.
yes,
So I would say I think there's gonna be a Mercedes win this year because
George
honestly,
Russell.
every time it isn't Verstappen and Perez on the podium and Alonso is not there, it's the Mercedes. So I think if Verstappen just DNFs one time this season, it's either gonna be Hamilton or Russell taking the P1.
not even Perez. Not even Perez. He's just gone.
Yeah. Well,
So-
Perez has already won this year, so
So
you know.
speaking of Ferrari and Mercedes, Giuseppe, question to you, since you're the expert of suffering, how do you even feel knowing that Ferrari managed to get worse from 2022 and the mid-season form, which was worse than a rock in water? How do you even comment on them getting worse midway through, not even midway through 2023 than they were in 2022?
You asked me how I feel. Like, I can actually feel anything anymore at this point. Like, what do I think should I feel? I mean, our best race by far was Canada because our strategy worked out. And we finished 4th and 5th. What am I supposed to feel anymore? I don't know. Oh my god. But,
Actually,
yeah,
you had a good
the
race. Yeah,
concept of next year is our year will continue on living and it will only get worse. I don't really feel anything anymore.
I mean, I already have my.
Alonso
I
is
mean,
my only hope anymore.
Giuseppe. In my opinion, I already feel like because we had like the idea of wasn't it? Who was the manager that? Who was the team owner that entered in? Ferrari. I forgot the name of him.
Also,
Frederick
Yeah,
Vasseur.
yeah. So he laid out. He was doing some layoffs in Ferrari to restructure them this season. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking write them off instantly because Ferrari are just at the moment a mess. It's literally just a change in the end of the season, but when Ferrari was already set for this season, they already had everything done for this season, and they changed and then they changed the team manager.
You know what? No.
So
Yeah, go on.
So with that in hand, it's just a write-off. It's like you're not gonna be able to make a team run at the very least run with a team owner change and then a bunch of layoffs to try and restructure. There's no way you're gonna finish on the win. There's no way.
You know
I was
what?
acting like I'm a team owner, bro. I know.
Yeah, I know, dude. I was there. I laid them all off.
Yeah,
No,
with
but
me,
in all seriousness, when Vasseur was doing the restructuring, I suddenly thought that maybe we'll be getting a mid-season transfer. Maybe Ferrari Academy will actually start to, I don't know, show more of the younger drivers in the cars because Robert Schwartzman has been as a test driver for quite a long time. But no, you can't win every day. We went to Canada, as someone mentioned before. That was the last race for those who don't care. I missed it. I was in Germany. The 3 races I missed, Monaco, Spain and Canada, apparently were good. Especially Monaco was good, so maybe I shouldn't just watch Formula 1. And that's a thought that I'll keep in mind. But Canada was a source of a very controversial comment.
Was it?
Yes.
I haven't.
Pirelli responded to George Russell's concerns over, tyres not having heating blankets on for next season, full time. They're banning them. For those who don't know, they're banning tyre blankets. and they responded to George Russell saying that he should just change his driving style if he can't cope with the change. What's your takes on this? Zhao, you're a conspiracy theorist. JVA, I want your opinion.
Can I? Whenever I think of a main team, a main company in charge of something that is part of the regulation, when they say something like, "Oh, Lamau, just go drive, just go do something, just go drive and change your style because of this change," I just feel like I just feel like it's gonna end badly for some reason. I just feel like it's gonna end how the suspension issues happened in Formula E this season. I think Formula E has also been super slipped under the radar.
Yeah, but Formula E actually managed to get a good regulation change going. Like, the racing is insane, because when you're in slipstream, it's such an advantage. No one wants to pass you. You know Arava, right? Everyone knows Arava. You know his videos with 1,000 slipstream and no dirty air. That's Formula E. No joke. That's basically how the drivers feel.
And the 1,000 slipstream, 0 drag, and 0 rear suspensions, instant barrier hits, 500 G impact.
Didn't they have a problem?
Yeah, they
in
did.
Formula E, where when it came to crashes, because I remember Robin Freins in the first race.
And they had the
like,
South Africa issue. South Africa, they had
what is the South Africa issue?
Mahindra pulled out because of the crashes and everything.
Oh yeah, because they crashed way too much. Yeah.
Yeah, because
But
that's
that's
suspension failures, I think.
Oof.
Yeah, but basically, no, it was something related to the power unit. I don't know, but Mahindra team is just pulled out from that event. But why are we talking? You see, this is a Formula One podcast. We're talking about Formula E. This is the state of Formula One right now.
Honestly,
we'd rather talk about a motorsport that has been laughed at for the past 3 years because of Gen 2. Rightfully so. Gen 2 is one of the worst things to come out of any sentient human being, and yet it's still better to watch it than be entertained with Formula One. I remember Bahrain this season. I invited my friend over. Hi, Jacob. You're probably watching this. And, I invited him over, and I felt so disappointed because, the regs are good for racing. So we thought. Last season was good, at least in the midfield. We come to Bahrain, and I legit don't remember anything from Bahrain apart from the sheer disappointment I felt.
I honestly, now that I think back, the only notable thing I remember from the season was Esteban Ocon's podium at Monaco, and that's because at Monaco nothing changed. Legit, I think I'm gonna start a petition to rename the podcast to wait, what's the podcast called again?
Avant-Garde One.
I think we should name it Avant-Garde 3, so we can talk about Formula 3 instead.
Yes, you know what? I mean, guys, if you want some content, I'll be having a series where I sum up events from F1, F2, and F3 every Tuesday after the race weekend. I'll do a summary for every single team, every single race that happens during the weekend. So, wink, wink, shameless promotion of my own material. But yeah, those Formula 2 and Formula 3 have been more... it's always the case, they're more entertaining, but...
Milo?
Yes?
Mr. Science Theater F1, is that you?
No. I don't
By the way, anyone who follows Formula 3, support Gabriele Mini, if you're based.
No,
No.
Actually, you know what? No, Piotr Wisnicki is doing a throw. Should be patriotic.
It's funny, we all have drivers of our own nationalities in Formula 3.
Yeah.
Because Giuseppe has Gabriele Mini, then I have Dino Beganovic, which is the first ever Swedish driver since forever.
Immigrant.
Kai has... Quiet, you legit live in Austria. We're not gonna have
We're not having this argument. We're not having this argument.
Immigration.
Kai isn't Joao? Yeah, Gabriel Bortoleto is Brazilian. Then Milo, you have Piotr Wisnicki.
Yes, it's a bit of a shame he's with PHM, but yeah.
Yeah.
Back to Formula One though. We all know announcing after the Canadian Grand Prix, Haas F1 has announced a partnership with with another crypto company, with a Web3 company, and rightfully so. Everyone shat on them. Literally under the post, I saw comments of like, I don't know what Formula One is, but hey, crypto. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's amazing how easy people get scammed. Speaking of scammers, Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent, and this is when I finally were allowed to talk to you guys. Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent, so far the only two drivers to not score a point this season. Which one of them will score it first?
Logan.
And when? Why?
Logan
I think-
Hold on, let me check. What race isn't he mothball in a corner?
Okay, so
So fast. He likes fast tracks. Austria next race in Austria.
no, I think you are completely wrong. I'm gonna say Nick De Vries at the Singapore Grand Prix after
Being
Charles
sacked.
Leclerc has a suspension failure. Because I think that's funny.
You reckon Charles Leclerc will be higher than 7th? Singapore, because I doubt it.
Probably not, but also Ferrari around Singapore. Wait, did Ferrari even win a race last? Yeah. I'm joking. When was the last time Ferrari won a race?
Like last year.
Last year.
Well, yeah, I know, but like when last year?
We are
Austria.
checking.
Austria, guys. It was Austria.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Austria.
Yeah.
So that
good
means-
guys. We already
Charles-
are a full year without Ferrari wins. Hooray!
I can already like I know Giuseppe doesn't have a camera on, but I can see like his eyes watering.
No, I don't even. I told you I don't feel anything anymore. Why shouldn't my eyes water? Right? There's no point. This is. I know for a fact 2024 is gonna be the same. So you know. Funny.
But I think I'm on F1's website right now, and the main like news article I see, written by Lawrence Barretto, Ricardo wants back onto the F1 grid for 2024. So what are his options? I'm gonna be honest, none.
His option is Nick De Vries gets assassinated by Helmut Marko.
Yeah, but even then, why are they gonna get a guy who willingly left Red Bull into the Alpha Tauri? Like, it's so stupid in my opinion.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he left thinking that Alpine, the greatest team of all time, will actively get him the good stuff. When in reality, he left in depression, hatred, and wanted to suicide, basically.
Yeah, so basically what Renault does to a motherfucker.
Oh yeah, instant. Yeah.
Either way, I think Ricardo at the moment is overrated as hell by like everyone. But also, I am on like the godforsaken app that is TikTok, so that's fair enough. I was like, oh, they should put Daniel back in the McLaren. Piastri is shit.
What?
It's like, but that is also like TikTok, so you
Yeah.
know, they are all like mentally ill, so it's fine.
Right.
But I don't think he should be on the Formula One grid next season. Because
here's the thing. I shouldn't be clowning on also Piastri. I should be clowning on McLaren for pretty much dropping the Audi deal for Formula One, for being bought out by becoming a manufacturer team. Because if Piastri at the moment needs to exit McLaren, there's no way a customer team is gonna give him good stuff for his long span of a career. He has to leave, just like Lando. I don't think McLaren's gonna do anything. It's just like there's so much hype around McLaren being like, oh, they will come back, they will be there, they will be fighting. When in reality, they're still customer team. Customer team never gets anything well and doesn't make a title charge ever. Only in like 1999, but that was like by luck.
Red Bull.
But Red Bull was exclusivity, and
No,
Enstone
they
was
were
on.
right.
Enstone was on fire at that moment. Why would Renault give Enstone the idea of like, oh, you can go for a title fight in 2010, meanwhile Red Bull, which just managed to go runner-up, gets the possibility of going for a championship again. They go like, no, I'm just gonna ruin your life, and not let you do well, not let you do a title charge. Like, sure, after 2015, like that was Renault and Red Bull's relations became sour, but that was way too. But that was when Red Bull was already trying to get out of that deal, that engine deal.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care much for McLaren. Like, okay, subject switch. But I don't get why people hype up McLaren that much because in reality they should be
Lando.
clowned. They should be clowned on as much as, if not even more than Ferrari. This is my hot take, right? Because Ferrari were a winning team, and then since they're fucking Italians and they don't know how like a racing car works.
Hey.
No. They do, but they just don't know how to make it work in F1.
No,
Look at Le
no.
Mans.
Milo,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Go on.
They haven't won a title since 2008. Then I was 2 years old, and I probably still shat my pants. So, McLaren, they're like the same. They haven't won a title in how long now? 2008. No, 7. No, I don't know. 1 year they got disqualified from the championship, so it was around that time. Anyway, and they haven't won a title either. I mean, they were fucking abysmal from like the entire McLaren Honda era. Last season was like horrible for them at the start because they were genuinely the worst car in the field. This season feels like they've kind of stayed where they are. And everyone is just like, oh, it's fine, oh, their drivers are so good. Lando Norris is a future world champion. Oh, he's so good. I don't think Lando Norris is a future world champion. I think Lando Norris is one of the most overrated and stuck-up drivers on their field. Now I'm going to go into my tangent about how much I hate Lando Norris.
God.
Because I really do not like Lando Norris. I'm going to be completely honest. It was fun in 2019 when I was like, a little Reddit kid and I saw like, oh, look, he streams on Twitch. So, it was funny then. And like, I guess it kind of did bring a sort of like PR revolution to Formula One. Because apart from then, Liberty Media and like, or not Liberty Media, but like Bernie Ecclestone was like an old little cunt, so he didn't want to change anything regarding Formula One. I feel like I've sworn too much. We're not gonna get this video
We will.
underrated. Oh, thank you. Okay, but now he's just so boring, in my opinion. He's such a like stuck-up little bitch, and like I think Russia 2021 really confirmed this, or was it 2020 or 2021?
2021.
Yeah, 21, where like he just tells his team to like shut up and then he goes off. I think that was perfectly deserved for Norris for acting like a little bitch. And he's just like, no one regards him as a pay driver, right? Like, okay, Logan Sargent, he's American, so I don't really like him a lot, but he still like made his way to Formula One, even though he's not that rich compared to like the rest of the field, because he had to take a break year from F2 because he didn't have funding. Norris' dad is like a millionaire. And no one has. I've heard no one talk about that. Now I'm done. Thank you.
Can I speak some? I'm gonna go back a bit, just the Ferrari thing. Milo, you were
Oh
talking
my
about
god.
how.
At least follow up on what I said. I did
I
fucking.
want to
No.
follow up on what you said, but JV, your question first.
Hold on. It's just funny because you were talking about how Ferrari they're sort of consistent. They have potential and everything, and this will go up with McLaren too. Check this. I think this is it was Steve Nichols' Beyond the Grid podcast. He was a Ferrari. When he said he was a Ferrari, he was like how the people behind the Beyond the Grid were saying like, oh, well, how was your time at Ferrari compared to McLaren? It was like McLaren, oh, beautiful. Ferrari, it was a civil war. The engine department and the chassis department hated each other. They were pretty much working against each other. And with McLaren, it was like a paradise. But here's the thing: Ron Dennis was a paradise that time. Afterwards, when he left, it was already a toxic relationship, which ended in disaster because of the McLaren Honda.
Yeah.
McLaren was a
when,
giant team because of the McLaren was a giant team because we had Ron Dennis. They had a good and stable and solid management. But then when Ron Dennis started not going too well, it became toxic and toxic and toxic, just like Williams, and just collapsed. And so we saw the rise of Mercedes. We saw the rise of Red Bull. Those two replaced Williams and McLaren, and they just could not keep up. The moment they lost Lewis Hamilton in 2012, it was over. 2013, they had a toxic relationship. They were not going. They knew they were not going to do well. They finished terribly. Then 2014, they were like, okay, we're going to move to Honda. They're coming in. They're going to save us. And then they just threw Honda under the bus when in reality they were also doing terribly. And now they're like, okay, we're going to pick up what we left off from that disaster that was the McHonda era. But by the time they got the pieces, it was just like one coin. The rest was already burnt down. Everything was melted, destroyed. That was it.
Joao, can I interrupt your schizophrenic ranting for a second?
No, go on.
Milo, I have a request.
Yes.
My friends want to play Drunken Wrestlers 2 with me right now because I told them we'd do that tonight. And now they're screaming at me and calling my phone like 6 times, asking me to hop on Drunken Wrestlers 2. Can I be excused
Yes,
for only
you are.
this one special time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me be on this podcast. Well, I say that as if I'm not a regular member. I'm gonna return for episode 2. You know, I'll be there.
Yeah, you're
As
a co-host.
Julian
You
Baptiste
better
said,
be.
Co-host. I'm gonna be there no matter what. But thank you once again. I've had my schizophrenic rant about Lando Norris, and I think that's enough from me today. So
yeah, you will hear the follow-up that I have if you even bother rewatching this recording.
I will.
All right,
I
so
will. Thank you.
See you, Miran.
Goodbye. Stay
Good night.
safe, people.
So, what I wanted to comment on McLaren is that they, the thing is, the reason why they get a pass and Ferrari don't is because, of course, McLaren invests. McLaren is just the funny team, Lando Norris. The thing that Miran touched upon. Lando was, for example, a streamer, so he had better connections with the fans and everything, especially the younger ones. And Ferrari are just easy to pick on because they get themselves the image of being a big team, constantly at the top, and then they do shit. McLaren, on the other hand, as you said, JV, they've died. They've died in 2013. They had like a bit of okay year in 2014, and ever since then it's been one downhill ride with a really few cherry-picked moments. In
2016.
No. I'm talking about the whole 2015 till now. You have literally cherry-picking moments that can be described as okay.
Oh yeah, can I just pick something up? I have this. This is the only conspiracy theory I'm gonna do just now. Do you know? I find it funny how I think it's still a thing, but you know how McLaren social media, they will never touch upon any content from the bad years they had. Just whenever they have like a celebration, it's like, oh, Alonso, yeah, nice. They just post a picture of 2007, not 2015 or 2017. No, we're not gonna post that. That was so bad. We're not gonna post it. They pretty much like tried to 1984 their way out of people remembering those years of when they were terrible, and the hybrid era.
Yeah, and that's not good. You're lying in your face, and I don't know. It's just I think that just perfectly describes the current F1 climate too. It's all just toxic.
It's like also another team that slips by as well. Milan was a beating down on for McLaren. You were beating down on Ferrari. Giuseppe probably is crying in the corner because of Ferrari.
I'm trying to say something, but you keep on speaking.
Sorry. I'm just gonna do 1 second. Alpine. No one is picking on them, even though they're a manufacturer
team. Have you
team.
seen my rants in the Discord?
But you're not saying it here. You should
Okay.
start saying about them.
You know what? We have an Italian here. I bet Giuseppe can talk a lot about the French.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can. Fuck them all.
Oh god. Well, this is going
Good
well.
start.
But yeah, Alpine. I want to hear Giuseppe's opinion on them because I agree. They're shit. Last year, you know what? I'll let you speak, Giuseppe, but I need to get my things off the chest. 2021, they had everything. They had Prost, they had Budkowski, they had a good relationship. What did they do? They fired Budkowski, they made Prost angry, so he left the team, and 2022 was a nightmare season. Alonso and Ocon clashed. In my opinion, Alpine will never be a normal functioning team. Especially with, as much as I love Ocon's helmets, and Esteban is not a bad guy, his teammate relationships in Formula 1 have been awful. Off to you, Giuseppe.
Honestly, Alpine, the thing, it's kind of like it's like a mixture of McLaren and Ferrari, if you think about it this way. Because they have the part of like acting like a big team, like Ferrari, and then the part like McLaren that they're not up there. Because they've always said, we've heard, I think there were even articles where, I don't know, maybe in South now, where they were saying next year, or like, I think it was in the next 100 races, we're going to be a title contender, and we're past that already, and they're still not there. They haven't gotten there. Like, they act like a big team, but are in the midfield. They're basically the mixture of what we get from Ferrari and McLaren. So, it's just, you see what I'm getting at here. They act like all big and mighty, but they just don't push out the results. Of course, we've gotten some podiums from them, but if you're going to tell me in 100 races we're going to be a title contender, I don't want some podiums. I want them regularly and even some wins as well. That's a title contender to me. And of course, I will minus Red Bull, because they're kind of beatable right now, but that would be a title contender. Meanwhile, feels like they just haven't moved from those 100 races. They've stayed there, and I think they've even got a bit worse from I think 2021 in recent history was probably the best year.
Yes.
Because 2021 they had a lot of good moments, and then it's even got worse here.
Yeah, 2022 was a mixed bag. They had good races, they had bad races. This year, the highlight of it definitely Esteban's podium at Monaco, but they've been in the midfield. There's not much to comment on, and that's just the vibe of this season. There's not much to comment on at the moment.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the episode, so we're going to switch the segment soon, but to round this off, the only thing we can really talk about is, for example, Mercedes, Aston Martin's rise to the top. That's cool. Mercedes going for side pods is definitely a big thing, and the fact that it's a big thing kind of strikes me as we're getting excited of a simple, on surface, a simple aero package change. We're going nuts over it. And yeah, Ferrari is struggling, but then again, you have solid 4 top teams, and in the midfield, there is the back marker. So it's hard to discern, the state of the field, because you have one top team, and then you have 3 teams battling for second, and then the rest of the field just trying to get by. It should be a good championship, but for multiple reasons, it's not. The racing's subpar compared to last year, especially. The community is more, in my opinion, it's more jaded and toxic than ever. And we're coming to USA for 3 times this season, and I don't know how to feel about it, because I am all for Formula 1 spreading, but at the same time, I legit would have wanted Las Vegas to be any other race. Like, I wouldn't mind a country having 3 races, but why Las Vegas? Why not go to a legit circuit?
Yeah, bring Kielami back.
No.
No,
is the
no.
it's not a
goal?
good idea. As much as I want it to be a world championship, as much as I want to visit Africa, I don't think Kielami is fit for it. People, as soon as Kielami would hit the calendar, people would hate it. There would be the rose-tinted glasses for like the first few sessions, and then once we hit the race, once people realise that it's not a good track for Formula 1 for racing, people would hate on it. And especially since there are rumours that it would replace the Belgian Grand Prix, at fucking Spa-Francorchamps, I don't think people would be happy.
No, I get that. I just threw that in because I want to see your reactions. But honestly, I don't know. I'm mixed about I'm giving Las Vegas the benefit of the doubt, and I'm letting them have their race, and then I'll judge it afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, the F1 game, the DRS straight is absolutely insane. That's not what
I haven't played actually in Las Vegas.
Neither have I, but I know the DRS is OP there. But moving on to a very, very awaited... oh man, I have waited for this segment for a while. This is the new segment where I just got a few articles off the web and we will talk about them. So the first article is from Daily Star, one of the best, clearly the best news outlets for Formula 1. I think we've all seen the picture. F1 star shows off bare bottom in an Instagram snap as team comment on cracking shot. And Giuseppe, I want your opinion on this graceful post.
Man, oh man, it's just become it's an annual celebration at this point. Valtteri has brought to us. I mean, this one is just. I mean, if he's happy, I guess. But otherwise, I don't think. Some people may be complaining, but I am surely complaining. I don't need I remember the exact moment when I saw this picture. I woke up when I find Saturday morning, and this is the first thing I see. So it was. I don't know how to judge that, but it was very interesting to say the least. Bottas, of course, a very nice guy.
For those who don't know, this is Valtteri Bottas from the front.
Yeah, I'm reading the article of this. It's a very cool source, Daily Star. Thank you for this one. We thank anyone. Yeah. Good for Valtteri, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if he likes what he's doing.
The reason why I picked this article is because I think it perfectly shows the state of journalism about Formula 1. Look how long this article is, right?
About a
It's about a post where Valtteri is just butt naked, which is not something special, by the way. He's been doing this annually. There's no comments. There's no comments. This is just a post about nothing. Now, moving on to JV. As you can see, they're not the only ones making those titles, as Valtteri Bottas strips down in his latest revealing Instagram post that has F1 fans telling him to stop. 20 comments. And then, right next to it, no chance, Mercedes balk at Lewis Hamilton 10 year... Wait, what is this?
I want that money.
Oh damn! It's like double the money of XQC at Kick. Wow.
Wait, talking about Kick? Kick sponsors Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, but here's the thing: XQC.
Lewis Hamilton's going to Kick.
Oh
Insane,
yes!
guys.
Finally, Lewis Hamilton to watch alongside XQC. Just a bunch of Breaking Bad videos. 1 hour of episodes.
Wait, what even is this article? So this starts with Lewis apparently having a 10-year, £200 million ambassadorial deal, and then and then it's on the track. Red Bull won 8 races, taking 6 of those, leaving him as the 1 to 100 favourite for the Drivers' Championship. If he bet £1 on him as well, and he wins, he would make a £1 pence profit. Really? What do you mean? Hamilton's future is much less certain. What are you talking about?
I mean, fair enough. He's reached his age, but knowing Hamilton, I think he's gonna race on for like 2 or 3 more years. Pretty sure about that.
He literally said that he will continue to race with Mercedes until he wins his 8th title. I think that's a pretty clear statement.
I honestly don't know if he'll win it though.
I have a rough take. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but Mercedes are moving forward. But let's
No, but here's the thing.
let's see
Here's the
what
thing.
the very reputable source of dailymail.co.uk. But wait, what's with British websites and having .co.uk? What's wrong with you? The
You also
nerve,
have that in Brazil.
the nerve to not even have .com. Why? Why do you want to feel so special? Why does the Daily Mail have a Snapchat and a Pinterest? What do you post on a Daily Mail Pinterest? I'm sorry. I opened the page. Hold on. Pinterest of Daily Mail. They just post photos from their articles.
Well, if it works, it works. I guess.
Yeah, then again, but he uses Pinterest for news medias. Oh, Bournemouth. We're suddenly reading about Bournemouth. Great.
But here's the thing. I was actually speaking about Mercedes. Have you seen how Mercedes is struggling with the budget cap? They've launched an upgrade to rethink and re-add the side pod back to the car after doubling down on what I lovingly call the pufferfish. They re-added the side pods and it's still backfiring. In my opinion, that is just showing how Mercedes' situation is. They've been stripped bare bones by Red Bull and Aston Martin when it comes to their staff. They've pretty much not had a decent season when it comes to out-developing teams in the budget cap era. They've never managed to do that in any sort of year, I think. Even 2021, they couldn't even do that. They had the chance of out-developing Red Bull and winning Hamilton's 8th title, but they couldn't. They lost the chance.
I think it's not the
insane.
case of struggling. I think it's
Adapting.
I think they're going for a long-term plan with Lewis and with the car. They have Russell. They want to make sure that what they develop is okay. I think that's why they didn't introduce random upgrades, because that's the thing that teams did before. They need that certainty that this upgrade will do something, and when they're not certain, they didn't introduce things. Mercedes is a cold and calculated team, so that's why I think everyone was a bit surprised when they introduced their new package to Monaco. No one does that. Why would you do that? But it wasn't a bad idea. They needed to launch it now, so they did it, and it's kind of okay. I think it's kind of working, but we'll have to see what they do. Moving to Giuseppe, do you just agree with this headline? We're not going to read this BBC article. Do you think they're going in the right direction?
I mean, honestly, I don't like how they handle qualifying at the Canadian Grand Prix, but the strategy actually worked for once, and they salvaged a good result from it. So it was 4th and 5th. But at this moment, I'm kind of like saying, like, I want Ferrari to humble down, like they need to be humbled a bit. Like, we need that because we're thinking too highly of ourselves. We keep on, like, if you see that, like, next year is our year. No, we need to humble a bit. We need to accept we're not the Ferrari from the Schumacher era. We're not the Ferrari from that was actually the last good era we had, but we need to just find a new way, and slowly structure ourselves up from winning races regularly to actually head-on challenge Red Bull. The thing that we like about Red Bull is Red Bull take themselves very seriously. Red Bull just do anything to get the best car out there, and they don't really care about anything else. They just do what they can do best, and of course, they of course have a very valuable asset in Adrian Newey there, but then again, they take themselves seriously, but they are realistic with themselves, and that's what got them there. Ferrari just overestimate themselves, and they don't want to accept their mistakes. That's what's lacking from Ferrari. It's also a big part of the mentality. And if we can change that and finally just admit we're not the ones that we used to be anymore and slowly build up from that, I think that's where we need to start. But that would be my take on it. So the Canadian Grand Prix, I liked how they handled the strategy because it wasn't that bad. And if they could do that in the future to actually get like a win and a podium result, maybe even a 1-2 because it was a 4 and 5. If they could do that in the future by actually qualifying well and pulling out a strategy like that, which actually worked out in the context of the race, then I see good things coming. The thing is, I just don't want that occasion to be a one-off occasion and then it's already gone. Because we've seen that with Ferrari, they've been clowned on for years that the strategy department is not, well, as good as Mercedes and Red Bull's one, for example. There's a literal picture with the Ferrari pit wall full of clown faces, and that's like one that I've seen at least more than 20 times in my life. So,
Yeah,
it does say a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hate those images because they're so biased, because those mistakes, they happen often, and it's so frustrating to see. Two more articles. Yeah, again, Leclerc just says that they have to be better after a strategy mistake because they messed up the qualifying, blah blah blah. JV, W Series, all you.
I'm actually fine with it, to be honest. Let's see. All-female championship enters administration. Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, oh, it's not the right direction. I think it isn't as well, but at the same time, it's like if we continue, if we continue just like hyping up W Series and everything, it could potentially work. But it could have been like, I'd say a class for Formula 3, like for Formula 3 and Formula 2. Like it's like you have like the division, you have everyone driving the same team, the same level, like equal team, equal field. Like we have both the female drivers and the male drivers driving the same way, but we have also a class. Like you could see like a W Series, but it's like W Series as a separate championship. Just how well are the women doing compared to themselves, and then the rest of the championship, just to see how it is, instead of like a full blown championship, because that's just shoving it alongside Formula One, which as you can see, didn't work. I say it like that. That's probably a nicer idea.
One thing I have to mention about the W Series is and how they're handling F1 Academy right now. First off, F1 Academy is getting like no coverage. I've noticed that. But then again, I think taking the route of putting females, like secluding them from the male championship, is not gonna get them anywhere. Like if we see a lot of drivers from F1 Academy, let's take for example Marta Garcia, the current championship leader. She comes from W Series, as well as other drivers. I think Abby Pulling was in W Series. I'm not
Pulling,
sure.
yeah.
Lena Bula was in W Series. Many of these drivers come from there. I think both Alcubaisis are there. I think they were like Dubai F4. So there's some sort of like, I guess, exception. But even then, and then like if we talk about the best current female driver right now, we could say Jamie Chadwick. But even then, when she did compete she did at least compete in a male, in a championship where males were also included, of course, not only females, which was, I think, Freck, the Formula Regional European Championship in 2020 or 2019. And compared to her teammates, she didn't finish that well. But then again, I don't think just secluding the females from the men is not a good idea in my opinion. You just need to have them race together. So, well, it's I don't think like making them a special category for them is gonna get them anywhere. If eventually there comes like a woman that is as good as the male drivers, I'm happy for that. I'm gonna be happy for that. And if they eventually get into F2, well, we have had Tatiana Calderon, but then again, she didn't do that well. But if they do end up in F1, that's gonna be great. We have, of course, have had females in F1 before, but they didn't do that well. I think one has scored points, but I don't remember when. It was a long time ago. The thing is, my main argument here is they need to be included with the series in general as well. Nobody says Formula 3, Formula 2, and whatever are male only. We've seen that with Sofia Flörsch and Tatiana Calderon, and while they may have not succeeded that much, maybe other drivers will. Maybe like even in the future. Maybe not now, but maybe in the future. And that's why I think they need to actually they need to somehow get pushed. No, not pushed, but like get a sort of inspiration to not join a series that only allows females in it, but the one in general, like the actual route to F1.
Yeah, the thing is though, it's a big conflict because you need funding to get into those series, and it's hard for them to get that funding. But then again, how do they make a name for themselves? And that's the biggest conflict that I've seen about female drivers, because for them to punch through the male crowd, it's very difficult. And that's because they are outnumbered. There are way more male drivers, and that's kind of logical when you think about it. But they have opportunities. Sophia Flörsch, for example, has instantly rejected. Yeah, she rejected W Series because to get better, you need to race against the people that push you out of the sport, right? You have to push them out, and that's a good mentality. I don't think the W Series was necessarily a bad idea. I think it was just poorly executed, because it kind of made females a laughing stock, because it's suddenly a special category for them was created, because it just looked like, oh look, they can't get a place to go, so we're going to create a special place to cater to them. That's how it kind of felt. And the F1 Academy, with how the marketing is handled, with how the series is handled, it's awful. It could have been handled way better, and it's wasted potential, because it's an actual F1 sanctioned event, and the racing is okay. We can watch the replays, but it's just not. It should be live. It should be shown on the YouTube channel. If you want to spread information about female drivers, if you want them to succeed, if you want them to get sponsorship deals, if you want them to go to F3, F2, F1, do something for that to happen. Don't just do fake promises. I don't think Jamie Chandler will ever get to F1. Why? Because she's been flushed out. And she won't come back. She's going to stay in America. She's doing Indy next at the moment. She might get to the top. She might get to IndyCar. We don't know. But I think her time in the F1 ladder is done. She's with Williams, but realistically speaking, what are her chances?
Yeah, and the thing with F1 Academy even is we have like genuine teams partaking there. It's not like in W Series where it was like, I don't think there were even teams. I think there were like created from the
General Racing.
No, I know. I mean, I meant as in like, they weren't like genuine teams that were created from, I guess, from scratch.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, in F1 Academy we have giants of feeder racing like Arc Grand Prix, Campos, MP, Prema even.
Yeah, Prema.
And Carlin. Like those are big names in the feeder series. Like you see them everywhere. You see them in F4, in F3, in F2. Like, I'm sure at least one person here has heard of Prema, or maybe even Carlin and ART. Campos and MP are also up there. So it's like actual genuine teams and I think that's good, because of course they have a bit of, like, they know what they're doing, and like it's actual teams that have established themselves in the feeder series in general. And that's what I liked about it initially. But if the coverage is not given, then like even streaming it on the YouTube channel would be a good idea, because I get not streaming F1 on the YouTube channel because of course you want people to pay for F1 TV. But like streaming F1 Academy on the YouTube channel would not even be that bad of an idea.
Yeah,
I honestly think they should do that,
yeah.
and I don't get why they're not.
And then there is the whole issue with when Euro NASCAR was like, when F1 Academy was Euro NASCAR supportive, and there were bans of recording footage of it and posting it before the highlights. And there were notices sent out. It's bad. It's really bad. We're gonna have to slowly come to an end. So JV, go on.
I think about W Series, I think that my best opinion about it is maybe support a team. Maybe for Farm should go and support a team in like this in the lower division, like Formula 4, Formula 3, and push Formula 3 and Formula 3 at least to YouTube. But another thing is, you know how the hype everything for this season's Formula 1 23 game is about the new fictional team that's gonna be added. Why not push instead of W Series a W team, which you have like a sort of like get the best drivers from the women field and then push them and then create for them a Formula 3 team, and then maybe afterwards a Formula 2 team. Increase the field so these drivers have actually we have actually a more we have more space for them, and also maybe also help them to get up to the series instead of like creating a whole different category for them, in which they have no chance of getting any sort of sponsorship because it's still stuck behind paywall. It's stuck behind F1 TV, in which most of them use F1 TV just to watch
It's not even
F1.
stuck behind F1 TV. It's just not shown anywhere. The highlights are only available on YouTube, and that's it.
Even worse.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, for example, Iron Dames, right? They have divisions in lower formulas, Freca and Italian F4. They participate, and
That's the way Form should have done. Get something like Iron Dames pushed and then fund them into pushing a team or two on Formula 3, in which, funnily enough, if you check out Formula 3's wiki at the moment, Gabriel Bortoletto's picture is kind of funny.
Yeah. So to round this off, be like Dorian Pin, go to WEC. Don't waste your life doing open wheelers if you're a woman. Actually go to a proper series. We know that the Valtteri Bottas has a nice bottom. Ferrari and McLaren are both clowns. And
NLP2, by the way.
And Max Verstappen was beaten as a child. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and we will see you in the next episode next week, same time, same place. God help us all to achieve this goal. Hopefully, we'll be in a new crowd for next episode. People will be invited here. Be sure to join the Discord. It's not really set up yet as the time of recording, but for it should be already set up once the video is up on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. We should be safe on the roads, wear your seatbelt, and welcome to Behind the Paddock. You guys can say goodbye now.
Goodbye. Tune in next time. I don't know if I'll be there, but I'll be there.
My sincere reaction to this podcast.
Yeah, goodbye.